everyone. Welcome back to Pima Voices. My name is Savannah, and I'll be your host. Today, I'm sitting down with Edgar Soto, who is the Vice President of Desert Vista Campus. And today, we are going to be exploring all things Pima. Right, Edgar?
Yes, love it. No, I'm excited.
So for those people who don't know who Edgar Soto is, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself, how you came to the college. You've done so many different roles here at the college as well, so you're best to tell your story. So go ahead and give us a little
It's
insight.
a long story, but I'll keep it short. But I've been here for 29 years, and I started off as a adjunct faculty. I was a assistant baseball coach, and then in 1999, I became the head baseball coach at Pima Community College and was doing sports marketing at the time. And so with that, athletics was my first introduction to Pima, but it opened up a lot of doors for me, like community colleges do. I mean, you kind of show up somewhere and you think you're going to do this, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, that looks pretty cool over there. I'll try that. So it kind of just evolved into me getting into K-12 outreach, which is like college recruiting, and then got into me being an assistant athletic director and athletic director. Then I became the dean of arts and humanities. I was a dean of athletics, dean of fitness and wellness. And then since 2018, I've been the vice president at the Desert Vista campus. And currently I also overlook Santa Cruz Provisional Community College also.
That's it?
That's it. And a lot of things outside of Pima too, but that's what's great about Pima. It like gives you a network and connects you with a lot of different people, puts you in proximity to a lot of what could I say, people that have a high impact in our community to do good in the world. And so I always feel like Pima Community College, or just community college in general, have more leverage than any other institution because we take students wherever they're at, right? I mean, whether at the U of A, you got to assess into college. Here, we'll take you whether you're at a high level valedictorian of your high school or whether you barely graduated or got your GED or, just adult ed or whatever it might be. So that's what I feel like community college, what drew me towards community college.
You've had all these, great leadership roles and everything, and you've been recognized nationally through that as well. And so how do you think having those experiences influence your leadership roles here at the college?
Well, one of the things I remember when I was first applying for jobs at Pima Community College, as far as when I was already in, and, I kind of got no a lot, right? I wasn't qualified for whatever reason, but I think sometimes you can get pigeonholed in a certain job or so I was the athletics and the sports guy. So I think people had a hard time imagining me in a role, more in the academia kind of world. So luckily I had a vice president at the time that appointed me as an acting position in arts and humanities. And one of the things that I think that really helped me was to show people that I can navigate and be successful in the academia world. And so that was really helpful. And I feel like my role as a coach and as a athletic director really taught me how to put people in certain roles to be successful. So, I think people think leadership has a lot to do with you telling people what to do. But in my world, it's more like you're my boss. Like you tell me what you need, and my job as a leader is to get you what you need to be successful. And then sometimes the best things we can do as leaders is stay out of the way and let the people you hire do what you hired them for.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It's all right. We were having comedy hour earlier, so
this is part of it all.
This is part of it all.
We're live. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I actually live streaming this, so I'm just joking. I'm not doing that. I wouldn't do that to you.
I mean, thank you.
Oh, yes, I would, but I just forgot. No, yeah.
And so you made a really great point about being pigeonholed, and that happens in a lot of career and industry, right? A lot of times, for instance, I was pigeonholed in retailing. You were pigeonholed in sports and everything. But sometimes someone just has to take a chance on you. And Marcy took a chance on me, and I've been able to grow and everything else. Yeah. And a lot of times it's not based off the experience you have in your career, right? It's you need to look past that and like, what can that person actually do? And so you had that one person believe in you and stick you in this role, and then look at you, you've taken off into so many different realms of the college, and you're all over the place. And I don't know how you do it. Sometimes I have to people and I'm like, I don't know how you have the time to do everything that you do, because I see you at events all the time. You come to like our events with the foundation. You're such a great supporter of everything that we do and for the college, and like, one person believed in you. And I feel like that's the college itself, is you have teachers who believe in you as students to help you thrive and keep going and get you where you need to go. And like you said, leadership isn't exactly always telling you like, I'm going to tell someone what to do, but rather like, let me help guide you, right? And I'm here to just help lead you in the way, but not tell you what to do.
Well, I love that, because I think you're right in that people are one key relationship away from really making a difference in somebody else's life. And so, you know, for me, it was the vice president, Greg Bush at the time, and there's been others, and you know, for you it was Marcy Euler, you know, and I want to honor you, Savannah, because you definitely brought a lot of life to the foundation, and you know, I think, you know, events and stuff. I mean, you guys really do an amazing job, and your team there. So I've seen our foundation really just be a huge part and a pillar in our community, as far as, you know, creating the infrastructure we need to have these classes and courses and do these things. Because when we see what we're actually doing, I mean, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to create programs that are going to help students get good jobs with livable wages to live lives of meaning and purpose. And so wherever we are in that process is very important, because if you don't have that one part of the machine to make it work, everything else falls apart. So I think it's important now that you, Savannah, as an example, well, you know, that was gifted to you in some way, that it's important that we continue to shine other people's light. You know, we light their candles, and so that we see people not, oh, they don't have the experience. You know, one of the biggest challenges I always have is that, oh, this person just doesn't have the experience. Well, how are people supposed to get the experience if people don't give them a shot? So I think for me, when I hire people, I look at crossover skills. You know, okay, you know, maybe they were in retail, but they had a lot of customer service. They have a really good soft skills, and we could teach them all the intricacies of a job or what you need to know. But what's important is that they have a good heart. They want to see others do well, and they're lifelong learners. I mean, they want to get better. They want to explore. They're not afraid to look awkward or do weird. I don't say do weird things, but like make mistakes. You know, and I guess you're perfect, because I could tell you're not afraid to do weird things and stuff. So no, I'm just joking. But you know, no, I think that's important as a leader. I think the most important thing, that when you look at somebody, it's beyond the resume. There's more to it than the resume. Is how does this person interact with you? Are they someone that, you know, that shows up for other people? You know, and if there's someone that understands the importance of taking care of themselves and you know, being a lifelong learner, because if you're not doing that part, you're not going to show up and suit up for that person in front of you. So I think there's a lot of parts to it, but it's more than the resume and the experience.
Yeah, I mean, we see that a lot with students of like, maybe they have a hard time getting a job out in the real world because they don't have the experience. It's like, well, how am I supposed to get that, you know, if you don't give me that opportunity or that chance? And so it's really lovely to hear like that you had the opportunity and chance, and then to see you really take off. And so, and you're vice president of Desert Vista campus. So tell us a little bit about what's going on Desert Vista.
Well, so I was a little worried this semester because, you know, Allied Health, they're all here at West Campus right now. So our surge tech, our phlebotomy, our LPN, MA, CNAs. And I was a little concerned because that was kind of the heart and soul of our campus, that and our TRIO grants, right? So with the TRIO grants leaving and, you know, Allied Health leaving, I was really worried about our enrollment. But I mean, it's a lively campus right now. I haven't actually looked at all the numbers, because when you look at numbers, you got to look at them in a way where, okay, of course, our enrollment's going to be down because we don't have Allied Health at the campus. But what, you know, I feel like we've increased in a lot of areas. So I think we've really put a lot of energy into some of our like student life programs and our things that are going on. I think really our culinary is our you know, center of excellence. You guys just
had a ribbon cutting for that,
and trying to get some of that stuff done. So there's, you know, I think we're setting up the dominoes from some really amazing things. We started our 8-week liberal arts pathway, which is making sure that we have all the courses in an 8-week format there at Desert Vista campus. Because one of the challenges when I got there was we had low enrollment, but a lot of that had to do because we didn't have a full pathway at the campus. You know, 2 students would have to take maybe their writing and math at Desert Vista, but then go take a history at Northwest campus or West campus. So what was happening is our advisors were just saying, you know what, you got transportation issues, you take the bus or you get rides, just go to West campus because they can drop you off there, pick you up, and or downtown campus. They have the full pathway there. So once we started to get support from our executive team, you know, Ian Rorick and our chancellor, and saying, and Jeff Teese is another one saying, okay, if we have a full pathway, we're going to be able to better serve our community that sometimes has transportation issues, but they can find everything they need at Desert Vista campus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I remember what really hit me on this. I had a student, Sarina was her name, and she asked me to take something for her to Northwest campus because she didn't want to take the bus. It was an 1.5-hour bus ride out there, and she wanted to get home to her Section 8 housing before 8 o'clock because after 8 it was shady. She said characters, and so I was like, well, why didn't you just take the class here at Desert Vista? Well, they had it, but they canceled the class for low enrollment, all this and that. So I realized like this really impacts our students that have transportation issues or might use public transportation. So it's important that, you know, we find out what the students need and then we adjust to them. And I think for a long time, because that's the way we operated, that our class schedule at Desert Vista just was very just sporadic, a class here, a class there, with no structure to it. But now we're trying to put some structure to it. And what we're noticing is starting to bring that community and those zip codes to our campus, which is a good number of our students that live in the area.
Yeah, I can see like Desert Vista is far from Northwest. Just even if you had a vehicle, like that's a good, and to take a bus and having all those extra stops on top of that, like that's a huge thing. And I remember when I was first taking classes, I would go from Northwest to downtown to West, and like I never had to go to like East or anything like that, but it is a bit harder sometimes when you're traveling from campus to campus. So like for you to recognize, oh, like there's an issue here, and bring that livelihood and like tell people like, yeah, this Desert Vista campus is here for these students in this community. I'm sure that was you saw a big change with that as well.
And I think our campus really is more of a traditional type campus in that we have younger students. So the average age of a student at Pima is 27. At Desert Vista is 24. So we get a lot of that younger crowd. So, you know, our student life is an important part of it. And I think it's important that we continue to kind of put some energy and some effort into that program to make sure that, you know, we want a lively campus. You know, the one thing our chancellor has always said is that when he comes around the campus, is he wants to see students, he wants to see people interacting. You know, there's this program called the acronym is CCLAC, but what it is reciprocal learning, where it's us trying to get our older 55 and older working adults connected with our younger adults, that they can do some reciprocal learning where maybe there's some technology stuff that they can teach the older adults that, you know, operating their phone or whatever it might be, social media. And then maybe there's some wisdom that the older adults can pass on to the younger students. So creating the spaces for those type of connections is important, and having a network of people that kind of want to connect and build community.
I like that campus. Anytime I've gone to that campus, I think it's a fun and like really pretty campus. I do like feel like sometimes it has been a little bit quiet, but like the fact that that's changing is great. I mean, you guys have hopefully the little farm, like the little garden that you guys have going on.
Well, we take a farm too. You got some chickens we can borrow.
There should be, right? I mean, why not? You know, I'm sure you have the space for that. I meant to say garden, but you know, whatevs.
Hey, I'm open to a farm, and you know,
I'm sure Pablo would love that for culinary and everything.
You just have to come keep an eye on the chickens for us.
But, all right, sign me up.
You know, one of the things that, you know, I like having these big ideas, and I know it's a lot, and sometimes I feel like here sometimes, you know, Edgar, you're being a little bit too ambitious. That's a big thing. Look at all these things that have to happen. But I think it's important that we dream big, right? So let me paint this picture for you. So we got permission to expand our garden, right? But what if we were able to expand it all the way out to the freeway? We had like pear trees, apple trees, orange trees, like they do at Apple Annie's, right? Pumpkins and all this cool stuff. So, I mean, that community would really be excited about it. We had one of our neighborhood associations was talking. They're trying to do a community garden. And I said, this is a great opportunity to partner with our neighborhood association. And maybe they don't have the infrastructure with the water and the space, but maybe we can share this garden with our community. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities out there. I think we have a model in place with our childcare center. So Desert Vista Camp is one of the things I'm most proud of, is that we have our early childhood center there. So we have a space for 3 to 5 year olds and a space now for 1 and 2 year olds, which, if you look at early childhood education, Savannah, and you want to solve all the world's problems, you invest in early childhood education, because this is why. First of all, there's this famous Nobel Prize winning economist named James Heckman, who said for every dollar you put in early childhood education, you get up to a $4 to $16 return, which means you don't have to have as many remedial services from elementary school. You don't build as many jails and prisons, because these students have a strong foundation and you can see the ROI on it right away. So, I mean, early childhood education is a key, and we have that at the Desert Vista campus, and we're hoping to grow it. But the key is partnerships. We don't have the funds to do it all ourselves. So we've partnered with child parent centers, Sea Campus, a grant we got, a Head Start, and United Way. So I think if we can really, if Pima could be the conduit that brings everybody together and pushing in the right direction, because Pima, or Tucson, has more nonprofits per capita than anybody in the country, which means we're a really caring community, but everybody's doing the same thing and asking the people, Jim Click and Humberto Lopez, like asking the same people for money. So, I've always had a hope that Pima could, and I think Marcy's done a really good job of this, is bringing different organizations together and letting them know, hey, let's partner with Pima and include our nonprofit or our for-profit. And what we're going to get in return is we're going to get a skilled workforce. We're going to get people that have, that are educated. Might not be the traditional transfer program. It might be in our workforce development, but I think that's important. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunities out there.
I was going to ask you a question, but I was like, he's answering all my questions. Like, he just keeps going. He's so good at it.
Yeah, I talk a lot. If I start talking, just shut me down.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
good because, I think at the foundation, it's taken a while for our team to grow and everything, and for people to build and trust in us and realize, we literally, everything we do is for the college. Like, that's all we're here to do, is to champion the college, to push people to kind of go out there and kind of help get what they need, right? And so I do think Marcy's done a really great job with that, and helping build us as a team to really kind of show, hey, let's connect you with the right people to kind of put your dream into reality, right? Because you've been around to see how much the college has changed, right? And so it's so different from when I took classes here in the very beginning until now. And so you've shared a lot of great visions that you have, but what is, before we end our session, what is one thing that you would say is helping, the college is helping to shape our community?
Well, I think the one thing that we're doing that is an improvement from the past is, there was a time here at Pima, we were the only show in town. We didn't really put a lot of effort into our marketing or building our online program, because we're in Pima County. Where else are they going to go? But then you had Southern New Hampshire. Then you had other places where people could get an education. You had Professor YouTube, Professor Google, all these people that could do the same thing that we're doing. So I think we learned a lesson there, in that we always kind of, I'm going to say one of our former chancellors quotes, that you got to look at where the puck is going, right? Wayne Gretzky, famous hockey player, would always say he doesn't skate to where the puck is, but where it's going to be. So I think it's important that we look at all the potential, opportunities there in the future, and making sure that we're ready and we're not being reactive. We're being proactive. I call it prehabilitation instead of rehabilitation in athletics, right? You don't want to rehab, you want to prehab so you don't get hurt. So I think, there's a place now where Pima has that mindset. Hey, what are the programs that are going to exist in the future? What are the programs that might, kind of not exist because of AI or because of these other things? So, yeah. So I think, what was the question? What was the question?
What was the question? Yeah. I'm so lost in everything that you're saying. I'm oh my gosh, yes, that makes a great point. But no, I was just saying what you think, how the college is going to continue to shape our community in Southern Arizona in general.
Okay, so here's what I think. So one of the things I think the college has done which is really amazing, is partnering with Santa Cruz Provisional Community College. So Santa Cruz is in Nogales, Arizona, Patagonia, and that community has about 40,000 people, right? So the thing about Santa Cruz County is that it's about to blow up in a positive way because you got South 32, the mining company there, that's going to bring about 900 jobs. We've got an electrician program over there, and I think Pima has partnered with them because that also means jobs for people in Tucson. And I think we look at things more in a southern region kind of lens, where before it was all about Pima County. And what we've realized now, I think that what's good for Pima County is good for Santa Cruz County, is good for Pinal County. So I think instead of getting real competitive with these other counties, I call it co-opetition, where we cooperate with them, but we're also competitive to bring out the best in each other, because that place is going to really be, it's going to grow with their population. You know, you have 40,000, 50,000 people in Santa Cruz County, but if you go across the border in Nogales, Sonora, there's 500,000 people. And so you talk about semiconductors and chips and all these other things, we're going to need a skilled workforce. And it might just not come from this region. We might have to go into international and figure out how we can build bridges to just create good jobs and make sure that we're ahead of the curve, and when we got things in place that when things do come up, we're ready to pounce on it and get the benefits from it.
Yeah, I'm always so excited to see like what's new to come and like how we're going to keep evolving and changing for the better. And I think that's what's been happening in the past decade or so, and it's going to continue happening. And I was talking to Chris earlier, and we were talking with someone else, and we're like,
Hey,
oh my
who's
God,
Chris?
Chrissy.
I'm just joking. Yeah, no.
And we're talking about how like, we should take that class or do that. And like, there's so much greatness on every single campus all over the place.
My son is taking, my son graduated from the University of Arizona, came to Pima, my older son, Jonas, and he's taking a drone class right now, the first semester. So he's loving it.
What?
Yeah, and aviation, yeah.
I didn't know they had that. See, now I just am like, that's another thing I want to like add to my list of classes that I want to take, because I just like, there's so much opportunity here, and that's like the beauty of the college. But
you can reinvent yourself. And what I love about Pima also is that it's a second chance for a lot of people, sometimes a third and fourth chance. So I think, people, it's a place where, it's not always about getting the diploma, right? Sometimes it's about just, creating relationships and connecting with people. When it's all said and done, I think those are the key things. So, Pima's a space and where it's a safe place where, if anybody that is not in the majority group, if you're at a community college, you're in a safe place. You're not going to be judged. People are accepted. We're inclusive. So I really love the things that we do, and how we can just not see somebody where they're at, but see them where they can be, right? And I think it's important for all of us that work at Pima to be at our best. So when we meet people at that intersection of influence, we're in the right place, not to see them where they are, but seeing where they can be. So I love this community college.
Well, I think we all do. I mean, we always say, we obviously, a lot of us have been a student at Pima and everything, and we always find a way to come back, and it's because we believe in it and we love it, and it's just like such a great space to be in.
Well,
so.
Chris was an athlete here. Did you know that? She was why are you laughing so much? She was an athlete. Chrissy. Okay, Chrissy that's the same name as my fiance. So
yeah.
But no, she was a student athlete, right? And so what I'm saying is that, like, I always used to say this when I was in athletics, is the lure to get him there might be the sports or the athletics, but the goal is to get him hooked on higher education. So we need to look at places where we can connect with people and maybe get him in. But then, what's Chrissy doing now? She's not in sports no more. She's not, in the Olympics or anything.
In her free time, she's doing sports, but
maybe she's doing some stuff. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. But, but she had a place to land.
Yes.
And then she felt, if she hadn't had a good experience here in athletics, she probably wouldn't think that this is a place where she wanted to land. But, so I think that it's important, but it's important that we give back. One of the things I've always, and if we're over time, I'm sorry, but we'll just keep going. So you can make this 2 segments.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So, but okay. So one of the things I guess that I wish people would do a better job at is connecting with their 2-year college. When they go to U of A, all of a sudden they buy the U of A hat, the U of A shirt, and we got to come back and we got to reach out to the alumni and make them realize this is an important part of your progress and your development, and, give back to Pima, not just the U of A, but also Pima. So, yeah.
Well, I would say you're not just a sports guy, Edgar. You're more than that. So
thank you.
I'm glad that you were able to have the opportunity that you had and to continue to grow and be a really great leader for the college and a leader in the community. And I don't always get to talk to you at events and stuff. So it's really like great to see kind of like that side of you and like have a sit down conversation and it's not all just like, woohoo, we're having a great time today.
For sure. You're eating all our food, Edgar. Back off the free tacos.
It's been really
I'm
great because like you hear things about people, but you don't always get the chance to kind of like sit down with them and talk to them. And so you have a lot to say and you have a lot of great ideas and you're a great leader. And I'm sure there's more great things that are going to come from you.
I'll do my best. No promises.
Thank you for coming in today and sharing everything and talking about it. So I'm sure we could keep going, but they're going to probably cut us off here. So
no, it's my pleasure. I love it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Right. And thank you everyone for tuning in today's episode. And I'll see y'all next week. Thanks.
Bye-bye.